Hello everyone and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long. With me as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
Hey, Charles. I'm tired.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
I'm not tired as much, but I think that's probably...
You wouldn't be.
It's probably because it's later in the day for me than it is for you, because we live in two different time zones.
Wow, Charles, way to belabor the point.
And if you're on the YouTube channel right now... If you're on the YouTube video, that's how you're watching this video, that's how you're watching this podcast, Jake's address is flashing on the screen right now. That's his real address.
Charlie edits this so that he can put that on there.
That's his real also, I know your address, but that's his real address. Feel free to show up at his house, dox him, swat him, blow it up with a cannon. I don't know. Whatever you feel like doing it. But do it at these coordinates.
On a serious note, I actually put up Charlie's address here now.
Good. Listen.
So, you can send whatever you want to him.
Yeah. If you can figure out how to...
You know what? Here's both of his addresses.
If you can figure out how to swat me, I would be very impressed.
I don't know. I don't think we can squat you, because I don't think
they don't
the Scottish have swat.
They don't have
something
swat.
else.
Yeah, they have...
The Scots.
The Scots, that's their thing. Because SWAT's an acronym, right? For surveillance, what, at, time. That's what SWAT means.
Anyway, I got a show.
You have a TV show? Thank God, because I was like, not sure what we were going to talk about for the next 40 minutes.
No, me neither. I was going to just riff on nothing. But then I opened my notebook and behold,
it's like
a TV show.
It's like that cobbler who had unfinished shoes every night, and he would leave his unfinished shoes on the workplace, and little elves would come into his office and finish his shoes for him. It's like that's like us and the pilots.
It's a little Christmas story for you, the kids at home.
Yeah, little Christmas story. And
Then one time he found the elves, and they didn't have the shoes anymore. And he made so much money off of the shoes.
He killed them and ate them.
That he was happy.
Let's see. I don't remember that story very well. I just know that Jake outsources his pilot writing to little elves that live underneath of his bed.
Oh, you know what it was? It ended with him making a little feast for the elves. Because he watched them one night.
Yeah.
But after they ate the feast all happy and stuff, because it was like his way of thanking them, they never came back because they knew that he had seen them.
Oh, what a shame. Well, TV show about elves and shoes. That's what it's about, right?
No.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, honestly, not too hyped for this story, but we'll see how it goes, right?
That's how we start our best episodes, I think.
Nah, I wanted to do, so I watched Constantine, right?
Mm-hmm. The movie or the show?
Yeah, the movie.
Okay. Keanu Reeves.
And I also watched The Sandman, which is a new show on Netflix.
Yes.
So I wanted to do like a modern demonic story,
Angels, demons
exist.
Yeah, that's
that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like your favorite comic book character, Spawn.
Yeah, everyone loves Spawn. But it's not, I don't know. It doesn't really come out as well as you think, because then when you got like all this biblical stuff, it's just, it feels cliche because everyone has demons. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
But it you can make it weird because the Bible's weird, so you can just start introducing more biblically accurate things until people are like, this is sacrilegious. And they're like,
I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to get stabbed, because apparently that's a thing these days.
Apparently.
Anyway, the title, that's interesting. I don't know why I struggled so much with the title, but your options are, Charles. Fire and Brimstone.
Fire and Brimstone.
Behold an Ashen Horse.
I like the
Or the Ashes of Calvary. Behold an Ashen Horse. The Ashes of Calvary.
I like Behold the Ashen Horse. Or an Ashen Horse.
It's a quote from the Revelations.
Good. Bible quotes are very
It's
popular.
one of the translations. You can also translate it as Behold a Pale Horse.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which you might remember.
I know the Pale Horse. more than I know
Yes.
the Ashen Horse.
It's the same horse.
Okay, that's a good horse. Is it one of the horses of the
different
apocalypse?
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
It's the one Death rides.
The coolest horse. I've played the Darksiders video game series.
Yeah.
I know all about
I
the
played Red Dead Redemption 1, where you could get them.
where you could get all 4 horses of the apocalypse and also a unicorn. And also, I think you could kill Bigfoot if memory serves.
I don't think you could kill Bigfoot. Well, maybe you can. I was nice to Bigfoot.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you were nice to Bigfoot. I have never been nice to any big feet I've ever met. But who's our main character in Behold an Ashen Horse?
We'll get there in a sec.
Okay.
Let me sort of describe the universe to you. So we have demons trying to break the barrier from hell to earth, obviously, because it's just the way it is.
That's what they're always trying to do.
They always want to do that. They want to invade. They want to get in there.
Yeah.
But I've separated them into sort of like classes, I'd say. So we have hunter demons, also called Vens, which is short for the Latin name for hunter, which is the lowest level of demons. They're like thin humanoid beasts with claws and like burnt skin. And they can smell really well. That's their big thing.
That's
and
their
some have
superpower.
wings, so some are kind of like harpies. And
Oh, okay,
others
cool.
are just,
And
brown people.
And they're like, oh, maybe their wings are made out of the same like burnt, crispy flesh. That could be cool. They have like
Yeah, maybe
weird,
it's a little transparent too.
like weird, gross, crispy wings.
Next we got the Bellators, which is Latin for warriors, or Tors for short, as we'll call them. These are hairy, like satyr-like bull beast things. These are like the warriors of hell. Like the hunters, our main character and the people around him are gonna be able to handle the hunters pretty easily. But the warrior demons, they're a bit tougher.
They're scary. They've got muscles probably. They've all got abs, hairy abs.
And the last one, the worst one, are going to be any named demons. So if a demon has a name, it's usually just as smart as humans and can probably use magic and is as tough as a warrior demon.
Oh, okay. So they know how to wear pants and they have abs.
Yeah, and they can disguise themselves as... Oh, I forgot to mention this as well. Hunters can possess people, the first ones. But named demons can, like, become people, like shapeshifters.
Okay.
And hunters, they can't, like, speak and stuff, so they gotta, like, when they possess someone, they gotta play it close to the chest. But named demons, they can remember stuff and speak.
They can talk, they can fuck around, they can play craps probably.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That'll be a whole episode.
Whole
just
episode.
Playing craps.
That could be fun.
Also in this universe we have vampires, who are also in tiers, but there's only 2.
Yeah.
There's the bottom ones who are like crazy bloodsuckers, who it's basically anyone that was turned into a vampire is the just insane zombie-like crazy blood-sucking vampire that is pretty weak but just runs around trying to suck blood.
Yeah.
Then you have the elder vampires, who are very civilized and drink synthetic blood and live in castles.
And is it like a kind of situation where it's like, oh, a vampire is made when like a human and a demon like mate, or is it like regular just like vampire situation?
They have their own thing going on.
Okay.
They're not directly connected to
the demons.
Like they were originally. The lineage starts somewhere way down the line when a named demon cursed a human, and then we created vampires.
The cursed Vlad Dracula. Back in the day, back in those times, back in the 1800s or whatever.
Vlad the Impaler.
Well, he was more 1600s, not 1800s.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, wasn't he, or was he?
Well, I mean, he's Dracula. That's the guy,
Yeah, but wasn't he like? But he was also a real person.
Yeah, he was.
And wasn't he around like was it like the 1600s or the 1300s?
I don't know. He was killing Ottoman Empire peeps.
Oh, okay.
So long stretch of time.
A fucking while ago. Yeah.
Well, it was a pretty long stretch of time where they were there. So I don't know. Anyway, he gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
He might have actually been bad. I don't know.
I mean, he was a pretty bad guy, but also so
bad
is
enough
most
they
people
called
in
him Vlad
history.
the Impaler and say he's Dracula. So probably.
Yeah. definitely did drink at least some people's blood.
We also got sirens in this universe.
Okay.
Who, live out in the rocks in the water and only want to kill sailors.
Okay, so they are just water sirens. Because often in a Percy Jackson style universe where they have sirens, they'll be like, now they're working in fucking Vegas, or whatever.
Yeah.
But these are they live on rocks and they can trick sailors into thinking they look like beautiful, maidens, but they actually look all scraggly and scary. And they
I was thinking maybe they could be it'd be a nice little joke. They're really into stopping water pollution, so that's their whole goal.
Oh, okay. But they haven't put together that the sailors who are on the boats have nothing to do with water pollution.
Yeah, and really they're making it worse because the boats are crashing and
that is funny.
Destroying the water.
It is funny to imagine a siren is she picks up a seagull that's covered in oil and it's you're free, you're welcome, and throws it up in the air, and that just dies. It just flaps to the ground and dies.
Drowns in the ocean.
Yeah. Classic.
Next up, we've got, speaking of Percy Jackson, do you remember the Lotus Casino?
Oh, the Lotus,
Percy Jackson video?
The island of the lotus flowers. The Lotus Eaters.
Yeah, where it's if you go there, you're stuck.
Yeah, Hotel California, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking we have the same thing in Vegas.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the same idea.
I do.
You go into that casino in Vegas, and boom, you're stuck there forever.
I do always enjoy a hotel or a casino or whatever that traps you forever, but also keeps you alive. I think that's a good trope.
And final world building note. The labyrinth exists. It connects the entire world through underground tunnels.
I like that. That's cool.
It's relatively safe, except that there's a single bloodthirsty, invincible minotaur in it. Mm-hmm. That if it catches you, you're dead.
Can we give the minotaur a funny name? Clyde?
I was thinking it was the minotaur.
Okay. But, just
the one from Crete.
Yeah, but we just our main characters have a fun name for him. Clyde.
Minnie.
Or some other fun name.
Minnie.
Minnie's
good, right?
Oh yeah, Minnie. I like that.
So it's very risky to use the tunnels because they're very useful, but also you might die.
There's a big monster down there, but only one big monster.
Mm-hmm. But if he catches you, if you're in sight of him, you're dead because he will catch up to you and you'll die.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's get to the characters.
Let's get down to the brass tacks, baby.
Our protagonist, his name is Jose Verett. Mm-hmm. So Jose, Jose, Verett, Verett.
Okay.
Verett.
Jose.
I like that last name.
That is a good last name.
Big fan of that.
Is it Latin for something, or is it just a cool sounding last name?
I just came up with the name.
Okay. Well, it's good.
It's not Latin for anything.
I like it.
Literally, the whole character's personality, everything is based on the last name. So I was like, this sounds cool. He is a former member of the Abbey. The Abbey is the people that fight demons, essentially.
There are always people fighting demons.
He got kicked out because he uses demonic magic as well as divine magic.
Okay, so
that's his big thing. So he's using the devil's own incantations against him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
he's hated by demons for using this because it absorbs their power, and it's demons hate him. He's Constantine in that respect, where the demons hate him more than anyone else.
Yeah, the demons hate him. The angels are ugh, I guess this guy's helping out, but he's also a real prick. Mm-hmm. So he's not on anyone's side besides his own. Basically.
He also uses objects from other belief systems, which is another thing. So other Greek mythology and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
that's another thing that puts him down.
Is this a kind of universe where all sorts of mythologies and religions sort of exist within the same place, but they're powered by belief? I
was thinking about doing that, but instead I thought it would be fun if I just did it like Marvel does it, where it's
some of them are aliens, some of them are actual gods.
They're kind of just really aliens,
Yeah.
that have lots of power.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's actual cosmic beings the like actual godlike beings, like the devil and God, right? But then you have like the Greek mythology gods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who are just like aliens with power in Marvel.
Okay, that's cool.
So I thought I'd do it like that.
Yeah.
I won't, I feel like it's better if we just don't get into it too much, because then you gotta, like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you
It's
have
not
to
as fun
explain
when you
it
have to
all,
explain
it becomes so much less fun.
Yeah.
But the second that's like, well, he's going to use an ancient Egyptian, like, scarab beetle to scare off a whole bunch of, like, I don't know, Korean ghosts or whatever. It becomes cooler because it's like, well, there's, everything is applicable. So
You could also use the argument that it's like, they're worshiping the same god but by a different name.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It all makes sense. I enjoy it so far. So Jose...
Jose, yep.
Yeah, Jose.
Objects from other belief systems. Always wear sunglasses.
Ooh. Does that mean...
They're like protective sunglasses because demons have like a blinding light thing.
Okay.
And once when he was younger, he was blinded for like a year.
Ooh, that's...
So he's just always prepped.
They'll screw you up for a bit. Being blinded.
He wears a feathered hat and like a nice dress vest, but like he's kind of a sloppy guy. One of the buttons is unbuttoned. The tie, it's tied up by his neck, but it's a little ripped.
Yeah,
there's tears in it.
Well, like you could
not a very wealthy guy, this Jose Verett.
Maybe it's like he used to dress really nice when he worked for the Abbey. Because there was like maybe there's more of a strict dress code situation where you can't be like sloppy. But now he's like living, in motels or, in like a shitty apartment or whatever. And so he's become a little bit less concerned with looking good and more with doing cool magic.
His big thing is he draws, he like sort of preps beforehand, and he'll draw hexes on... I have notebook pages, but I was also thinking playing cards. I don't know if you had an idea for something that's small and portable paper that you could write on. I was thinking either notebook or playing cards.
Playing cards is good. I was thinking...
But I feel like it's like Gambit from X-Men, and I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe he just has Post-it notes.
Post-it notes? I'm up for Post-it notes. I like that. That could be fun, too, because he could like stick it on demons and then they explode.
Yeah. They're like, did you just put a Post-it... Just dust.
I like that.
Yeah.
And plus we get a Post-it note sponsorship.
Exactly. From Big Post-it Note. I don't know any Post-it Note companies, but Big Post-it Note, call us up. We'll shill for you.
Speaking of Big Post-it Note, we've got a big brother for Jose Verett.
Ooh.
His name is Zhang Verett. He is adopted. Zhang is spelled Z-H-A-N-G. He's the older adopted brother. That's important because it sort of marks their relationship.
Yeah.
He's like a legendary member of the Abbey and a legendary magic user who's very respected throughout the land. The difference between Jose's respect and Zhang's respect is Zhang is like respected and admired. People want to be him.
Yeah.
Jose's just respected because they're like, he does, good things, but no one wants to be him.
He's really good at his job, but he's also like a sad sack. I am definitely getting Constantine vibes from this, so I'm thinking like maybe Zhang is like closer to a Zatanna style character who is like beloved, whereas John Constantine is like everyone knows who this guy is. Everyone has had a dealing with him in the past, and they all know that he will fuck you over if given the chance. But also, he doesn't care. He's
what I was kind of going for is more of like, well, that's similar, but I was going to tell you my inspiration for the relationship because that might help. I'm going for like a Better Call Saul relationship.
Okay.
Between I guess you haven't seen.
I haven't seen it, but I get sleazy lawyer
between him and his brother.
Yeah.
So he's like the sleazy lawyer, Jose.
Yeah.
Who like doesn't play by the rules, and people don't respect him in like a regal sense. But they see that he gets work done, and they know that he's a guy that they can go to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his brother, Chuck McGill, in Better Call Saul, is like the legendary lawyer who everyone loves and everyone wants to be, and has like a, this massive presence in the community.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it's like Zhang is the guy you go to when you need to deal with something like world ending, and Jose is the one you go to when you need to get some dirty work done,
Yeah, if you got something that you don't really want anyone to know about, you go to Jose.
You go to Jose.
Also, if you have less money,
yes, yeah,
you go to Jose.
That makes sense.
So Zhang, he's the older brother, as I said. He tolerates Jose, but he does not like him.
Doesn't sound like anyone likes Jose.
He has someone who might like him. He hates Jose for being the actual son, and he's the adopted son.
Mm-hmm. And
it's like his big thing. He feels like the parents loved Jose more.
Yeah.
Than they loved him, despite Jose being like this piece of shit, and him being like the perfect kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why would you like him more? He's a terrible son. Zhang desperately wants to hold on to the respect that he's gathered, and he feels like Jose is like a threat to that.
Yeah.
Like Jose will destroy his reputation.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's like, the fact that we share a last name is the one thing, is like the thing that will cause me, to lose the respect of my peers.
Yeah.
But he's also like, maybe he's also a bit more cautious about taking on jobs, or not jobs, but like helping people, because he's worried about how it will affect his, his standing with the rest of the magical community. Because maybe like a siren can come to him for help, and he's like, well, the Abbey we don't help out sirens. And it's like, please, you're the only one I can turn to. And he's like, I'm afraid not. But he slyly slides her, the siren, a piece of paper with his brother's phone number or address or whatever. They're like, talk to him, he'll help you out. And if he won't, tell him I sent you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's cool. I like this. This is a good dynamic to build a show around.
Thank you. Zhang also always dresses very nicely. He always has a good suit on.
Yeah.
Jose, I want to add that he wants to be his brother, essentially. He, not like a weird sense, like he admires his brother and he respects him, and he's wanted to be like him since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense, but
it's like he looks up to him. So this, it's sort of like betrayal that Zhang is constantly putting him down. And it's not clear at first to Jose that his brother actually hates him.
Yeah, but
it becomes clear throughout the show that his brother actually hates him.
Yeah, maybe,
which is destroying to Jose, because he
loves his brother.
Just wants to be his brother.
He just wants to be his brother and be like his brother, but he's got a bit of the devil in him.
He just wants to make his brother proud. That's all he wants.
Oh, that could be such a heartbreaking line at big climactic showdown, and Zhang is yelling at him, and he's like, "Why did you do this? What's wrong with you? You've always been such a fuck up." And then Jose's just like, "I only ever wanted to make you proud."
Boom.
And then
roll credits.
Just a stare, and Zhang kind of is taken aback with this moment of realization, and then an explosion happens, because
they all die.
It's magic adventures.
Next up on our main characters is Winonna Blake.
Okay.
I'm killing it with names.
I like it.
Winonna Blake.
I love Winonna. It's a good name.
Winonna is the old childhood friend of Jose's and his on and off girlfriend. They're always still friends, because it's the only friendship the either of them have.
Yeah. Okay.
But they've tried relationships, and
like Princess
it usually
Carolyn.
gets messed up because she's trying. They're going in separate directions.
Yeah, like Princess
She wants
Carolyn.
to be part of the Abbey, and he wants to be, doing off his own thing.
He wants to help people. Doesn't matter, if they're good or bad.
Well, see, they both help people, right? But the thing is, they do it in different ways. Like, he will help people in any way, or, you know, he'll do what he wants in any way possible. And she'll only do it if she can do it the right way, which is, you know, only through divine magic, not demonic or some other stuff. Her outfit, as a since I'm telling everyone's outfit, is a green collared jacket. She has dark hair with bangs, played by young Winona Ryder.
Of course, good.
I'm
sure we can get that casting. We'll invent a time machine just for this show.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I think it would...
Maya Hawke works too, I think. She'd be good.
Yeah.
I did not think of an actor for anyone else. That was the other one. I was like, Winona's a cool name. I should cast Winona Ryder too.
Yeah. Or we could just cast Winona Ryder now and say that she's like 20.
I gotta say, I'm jealous. I feel like that she is the coolest name out of like anyone ever.
It is a really cool
like
name.
That's a sick last name and a sick first name.
The only person I think who even comes close to having a cooler name is David Bowie, because his real name
is pretty good, but he changed his name.
Because his real name was Davy Jones.
That's also cool.
It's such a cool name, and his like son is Duncan Jones, and you're like, wait, how'd you get Duncan Jones from David Bowie? It's like, Dad's real name's actually Davy Jones.
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver's pretty good too.
Sigourney Weaver is pretty cool, and
not as cool as Winona Ryder.
No.
Still cool.
Not even close to as cool as Winona Ryder in real life or in names. But yeah.
Why can't my last name be Ryder?
Why can't regular people have cool names? Why does my last name have to be Lung? It's such a bad last name.
Yeah. Anyway, she is always the person to bail out Jose. She plays by the rules, but you know, that's her friend, and she'll always get him out of trouble if he needs to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
She's the one that, like, when the Abbey's, you know, on his back and yelling at him, she'll defend him and, you know, stick up for him so that he can get out. Whatever bind he's in. Maybe
we can have like a scene where like Jose's been brought in by the Abbey, you know, military police basically, and like he's being put on trial for, you know, whatever reason, like sort of like a mixture between a Harry Potter trial scene and the Council of Ricks trial scene, you know, and they're all just yelling at him and belittling him, and she's the only person who's like, he, you know, did what he thought he needed to do, and they're like, be quiet, Winona, you're not a full member of the Abbey yet. You still have many lessons to learn, but the efficacy of magic.
Yeah.
And then that's when Jose goes into some tirade about, like, you know, you guys sit up here on your high horses thinking you're better than everybody else. Meanwhile, people out there are dying, and you're not doing a damn thing to stop it. You've been obsessed with your holy war for the past 1,000 years. Haven't looked outside to see that the world is changing. It's not as clean cut as it used to be.
Boom.
You know, something like that.
Are you excited for the pilot?
I am. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
You should be.
And reasonable. I'm very reasonably excited.
Reasonably excited. That's better.
Yeah.
That's better. So the pilot opens up. Jose's on a job. He has to pull a vampire out of a storage facility in Connecticut. So, you know, we have like this.
I know this is
raining outside. There's some construction worker or storage worker guy who's like, it's in there. I don't know what it is. It's like big and it's got fangs. And he's like,
oh God, this guy.
He's like pushes his sunglasses up. It's like, all right, I'll take care of him.
I know that this isn't what it's going to be, but when you said he has to get a vampire out of a storage unit, my first thing that came to mind is it's the storage unit is like one of those like glue rat traps, and the vampire's just stuck on one side, and his like face and one of his arms is like stuck, and the other hand is just like clawing out. It's like, really? Come on, Dale. This is the third time this week.
It's third time this week. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The cheese just looks
funny
so
stuff
good.
Like that too.
Yeah.
But this one's serious. So, he's in the facility. All the lights are out. He's got like a little flashlight going through. Rain's pounding outside, checking all the storage units, listening to sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, starts to locate the vampire. Sees trails and stuff, and he gets to it. And now he was expecting the average everyday blood-sucking fool who's pretty easy to take. He brought one steak because he was like, I'll just be able to chuck this thing into it.
Yeah, got one steak, maybe 2 post-it notes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like this.
But he opens the unit, and it's an elder vampire who he can't kill because they don't die.
Yeah.
So it quickly becomes an absolute scramble, panic fest, where he's like stabbing it because he can like wound it so that it like disappears, but you can't kill them.
Maybe he's got a gun, but he empties an entire magazine into the vampire, and the vampire's like, that won't do anything. And he's like, yeah, but it makes me feel better. And he like throws the gun at the vampire's head and runs out the storage container and like slams the door behind it. Vampire jumps out the top. It's raining. It's dark. He's like sprinting through the mud. And eventually, like after this mad dash and scramble, and maybe there's some junkyard dogs that attack the vampire, but then the vampire uses his like vampire powers to make the dogs attack him because they can control dogs. And he like manages to like get the vampire trapped somehow. Like he drops another storage unit on top of it.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's like
the way this fight's gonna end is the vampire is going to chuck him out the window. And it's like 3 stories up. And so we're gonna have this cool shot, him getting thrown out the window, slamming against the ground. His eyes are gonna be open. And next to him is the Grim Reaper, just like sitting in a folding chair.
Yeah, with like a
drink.
He's taking a sip, watching the fight.
He's got like a coffee or something.
Yeah,
like it's his morning, the beginning of his day. Death's gonna be a reoccurring character throughout the show.
Can we get a funny actor?
Death shows up and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Jose?" It's clear immediately that they know each other.
Yeah.
And it becomes clear that like Jose almost dies a lot, and Death has to like sit next to him a lot and chat. And he like pulls out his watch. He's like, "We got 3 minutes this time." They're like friends, and like this, like the moments that Jose almost dies is like their time to chat.
They hang out. Maybe they like have a favorite like TV show that they've both watched, and so they talk about that or something. I don't know.
Like, did you see the last episode of Friends? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I can't believe they finally got together in the end.
I've been watching Joey. It's great. And Jose's like, Joey's not great, Death. What are you doing? It's like, I'm going to have to reap Matt LeBlanc's soul pretty soon, so I'm watching Joey to really create an amount of hatred for him that I can't fake it. So I don't feel as bad when I reap his soul. Yeah. Is Jose a smoker?
No.
Okay, good. Can Death...
It's too cliche.
Can Death be a smoker? Because I think it'd be...
No, I think Death would be like, smoking kills, man. Can't do that.
Can't do that, man. I'm just
I
token on
picture
this
Death
legal
as like
weed.
just a really chill guy. Like he just got up, he's got his coffee. Maybe he's got the morning paper.
Yeah.
And he's just hanging out with his buddy.
Maybe he likes visiting. Maybe he enjoys seeing Jose because Jose normally lives in in California or something, and he's like, yeah, I love the legal weed here. And Jose's like, you can't get weed anywhere else, and it's like,
nah, state laws still apply in hell.
it is really a bitch, isn't it? And Jose's like, all right, fine. Can I hit that? Death's like, no. Fuck you.
No.
He disappears. Fucking ass.
So, Death's showing up and chatting, and they're talking, and he tells him, like, hey, you're pretty close this time, and another couple feet, and you would have definitely died.
Yeah.
And Jose kind of uses the opportunity to ask him some questions. He's like, why the hell was there an elder vampire in the storage unit? And Death's like, I don't know. Things are changing, it seems like. Vampires are getting more aggressive.
Elder vampire.
Killing a lot more people across the globe.
Have to be pretty desperate for an elder vampire to start drinking human blood again.
Well, he's gonna talk about how it looks like the Jose's gonna talk about how it looks like the vampire was searching for something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In the storage unit. And Death's like, I don't know. No idea, man. Probably can't tell you even if I did. Then Death disappears, fades out, and Jose actually gets up. Actually wakes up. He's like, oof, all right. I gotta figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So he goes to the one person that he knows, always knows what's going on. Winonna Blake.
Winonna Blake. That is a cool
I imagine she has like a noir detective office, somewhere in the city, above like a
speakeasy
store
or something.
Or like a speakeasy, yeah. Something. A club with a band, a comedy club. That's what she's above. She's above the Laugh Factory.
She's above the Laugh Factory, and she like has mastered. There is one like piece of divine magic that people don't use often, but she uses it all the time. It's just like you can turn a crowd against a performer like that. That's her thing. She's like, I can hear all the comedy. When I don't like it, I just do a little spell, and that comedian never comes back again. She's secretly the make it or break it for stand-up comedians.
Yeah, it's all in the down low.
Yeah.
So he meets with Winonna, and they're talking about what's going on. She doesn't know anything about the vampires, but she says demons are out in numbers. They've been investigating like crazy, or they've been coming out like crazy, and she's been trying to investigate what's going on. Why so many demons are suddenly showing up, and the Abbey's like stretched thin because they gotta get these threats, these incursions across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says that she's gonna try to ask Zhang, his brother. The mention of Zhang obviously hits him a little bit.
Yeah.
And she'll see if she can investigate and get some more information.
Maybe it could be like, I'm gonna see if Zhang knows anything, and then Jose's like, whoa, Zhang's back? Like he's back from, where could be a cool place? He's back from Antarctica?
Cuba.
He went searching for, an ancient, object or like some...
The shield of Captain America.
Some Mountains of Madness style stuff in Antarctica, and he's been back for like 2 weeks, and Jose didn't know.
Went on a retreat, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, spiritual retreat to the second realm. Or, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that. We'll write it when we get picked up by DC.
I mean, that part of the story is not very important, so it could be whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So they leave, and they're separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of follow their journeys separately, like an A and B story.
Mm-hmm.
As Winonna investigates and asks members of the Abbey and kills demons and interrogates them.
Yeah, we get to see like the Abbey, and it's like, oh, it's this super high tech, super cool underground fortress, all this stuff. I don't know how you want to do it.
Well, it's not like that. It's more like it's like in churches or like an office building or something like that. Like they're not it's not crazy,
mm-hmm.
technologically advanced and saying stuff.
Okay. They just have magic.
They have like a church where they meet, and that's where like the council decides things. Maybe they have like a big library where they have all these old texts to explain magic, and they have study rooms and stuff like that.
They all meet at the Church of Scientology, the only true religion.
Yeah, sure. No. So as they leave, they're both attacked by a swarm of Vens, and they have to kill them. And they're like, all right, seriously, there is a problem. So she goes and does the investigating thing, and Jose goes to Transylvania to try to figure out what's going on with the vampires and finish his case, because he said he'd kill the elder vampire He said he'd kill the vampire in the storage unit, so god damn it, he's gonna do it.
He's not gonna get paid if he doesn't.
So he visits the elder vampires, who are pretty chill. The normal elder vampires are just like hanging out in a castle, and that's just where they live. And maybe they like get involved in like local politics, but that's the extent of their meddling in human affairs.
Yeah, they get involved in Transylvanian, like, city council or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we need to move...
we need a better road.
We need to move trash pickup day from Tuesdays to Thursdays.
The pothole on Parkway Avenue is too much.
Yeah. And they can use, like, their hypnotist powers and all that shit just to get minor
to manipulate
things solved. That's fun.
But he asks around and he finds out that there was a schism amongst the vampires, because there's a lot less of them there than normal.
Yeah.
And he's confused and he's asking around and he's getting hints that there was a schism.
Mm-hmm.
And Jose, he kind of makes a mistake. He kidnaps one of the elder vampires.
Oh, no.
And he interrogates them because he needs to find out the answer, because he's like, this is suspicious, I need to know.
Yeah.
And he's interrogating that vampire and learns that a few have joined with the demons.
Oh, no.
Have broken away and joined the demons.
Oh, no. How about this for how he kidnaps the vampire? This is just an idea for, like, a little action sequence sort of situation. He, like, goes in, this vampire, they obviously get driven around in, like, blackout, like, cars, that sort of situation. Yeah. And so he's, like, he knocks out the driver, who is, what is a familiar or whatever, a thrall. That's what the vampires have, I think. And takes his place, and he puts on the little hat, and he's driving, and he starts going the wrong direction. The vampire's like, what the hell? And as soon as he opens, like, the divider from the front seat and the back seat, what are these vampires allergic to? Are they allergic to crosses and, like, garlic, or is it just, like, steaks and silver?
I don't think vampires have a silver thing.
Yeah, that's werewolves, you're right.
It's all the generic vampire stuff. Maybe we could make it so it's like he's driving him around, right? Mm-hmm. And he put, like, a garlic air freshener on or something like that. Yeah. And the vampire starts choking and gets really weak. And as long as the vampire's in the car, he can't, like, do anything. And this should be the same vampire from the storage unit. And that's when he reveals himself to be Jose Verett.
Yeah.
And he starts interrogating the vampire.
Once he gets the information he needs, he gets out of the car, takes the parking brake off, and has it positioned slightly, like, on a decline over a cliff. And the car, rolls off and explodes. And he's like, I know that won't kill him, but it'll piss him off. And that's all I'm about. I'm Jose. I'm about pissing off whoever I can, using my cool.
I was thinking that with the vampires, it's like they they can't die, but they can be sent away for a while,
Yeah.
So, like, that, he's like, that will buy me about 40 years or so. Yeah. That should be good enough.
Till his body reconstitutes.
100 years. Yeah. That counts as killing him, right?
Yeah. They reconstitute, instead of, like, healing. Traditionally, they just, like, need, like, meat within their, like, area. And they have their brain on, like, a pile of meat, and eventually they'll reform a new body.
Actually, this might be a good opportunity for him to actually kill the vampire, because we have to demonstrate the demonic powers that he has. And maybe a human can't kill vampires, and that becomes very clear in their conversation. Him and this elder vampire who's working for the demons now. Mm-hmm. And the other vampire's taunting him. It's like, you could use garlic and steaks, but you'll never kill me, you stupid human. And he's like, I can't kill you with anything
can't kill you with
made for man, but I do have this demonic fire from hell.
Yeah.
And he, like, burns the vampire alive with, like, hellfire.
Maybe he's got, like, because I was thinking when you said he had the post-it notes, like, he draws the hexes on the post-it notes, but I'm thinking maybe he could also, like, have something, like a hex or something, tattooed on his hand, or, like, drawn onto his hand, so that lets him shoot fire out of it. Because it's like, this is a tiny portal to the depths of hellfire, the hottest depths of hell's fire, and it's like, and that's it, and everyone's like,
burns him alive.
For shame, sir.
Elder vampire.
The only thing that...
And that's like a big thing. Even though that there's been a schism, the other elder vampires not cool with that.
Not cool with a human killing one of them, having the capability. So, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So, yes. So he is now on the run because all the elder vampires are pissed off. The ones that were, hunting him before because of the schism, and the ones that were just chilling because he just killed an elder vampire.
Yeah. Just killed by cousin or whatever.
We can have a nice scene of him running away, throwing stuff at them, trying to get out. Is about to be captured, and then Winona shows up and saves the day.
Yeah.
Yay, because she's finished her investigation. And she's come to, tell him what she found and see what he's found. She found him in a pickle. So, she gets there, helps him get away from them initially, and then, the vampires start catching up, so they go into the labyrinth. And the vampires do not follow.
No, they're scared of it.
Because like the fire of hell, the Minotaur can also kill the elder vampires.
Yeah, okay. So it seems like...
And they don't want to risk
any sufficiently powerful magic can kill these vampires, but nothing that, the Abbey has access to could kill these vampires. Maybe that's one of the reasons that that Jose left the Abbey. He was like, you guys are playing with pop guns in a real war, you may think that your moral code and your, not using demonic magic is protecting you, but all it's really doing is arming your enemies with the knowledge of what you can and can't do. You need to adapt in order to win, to beat these guys. And so it's like, yeah, hellfire, but also heaven magic, which is probably just healing and other lame stuff. You know that in video games, whenever it's oh, this is light magic and dark magic, you have your dark magic meter and your light magic meter, and the light magic's always oh, you can heal fellow soldiers, and you can, reload faster or whatever, and the dark magic's always you could shoot fireballs and make people explode with your brain. It's why would you pick the light magic meter? You can have the cool dark magic meter. Do that instead.
Yeah, I guess. It's a little cooler than that, but yeah. As we continue here, so they're in the labyrinth. And they're traveling through it, talking, trying to figure out what's going on. They end up in LA, probably right before they get through the passageway to LA. They see the Minotaur. And it's just a freeze. They're looking at the Minotaur looks at them, and they're we gotta run and sprint through the exit. They're both using
all the magic they can think of, ice spells and
anything to slow it down, but it just destroys everything. It's pointless to even try to throw something at it.
Yeah. Oh.
They rush through the exit, maybe it's out of the sewers or something. And they're breathing heavily on the sidewalk because they're oh my god, I almost just died there.
And you see...
Can't take the labyrinth again now because the Minotaur has their smell and will locate them.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it works. They have to wait, 20 years before they can use it again.
Or a week.
Or a week.
Maybe...
I don't need it again for the rest of the show, so...
Oh, okay.
If we do need it for the show again...
It'll be a dramatic thing. Maybe he can make friends with the Minotaur somehow.
No. Minotaur unstoppable beast for death.
Yeah. I would like it if, right, because it sounds like Jose nearly dies 3 times in this episode, but we only see death once. I would like it if
Oh, I forgot to say that the pilot has ended at some point here.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the series now.
Okay, that's fine. But it would be cool
this
if
is not still the pilot.
In the middle of action sequences, if you paused the show, in the background you could see death. I think that would be fun. If just he would just pop up whenever there was an intense action sequence.
Yeah.
And not always.
He's hanging out in the back. Maybe even just an Easter egg, he's hanging out in the background,
yeah.
On a swing or something.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
The pilot, by the way, ended when they got attacked by the swarm of Vens outside of Winona's office.
Oh, okay.
So before he goes to Transylvania.
I was about to say, this seems like a long pilot, but I'm okay with it.
No, we're well into the series. There's gonna be a few episodes of him in Transylvania and a few episodes of her investigating.
Yeah.
Probably 2, I guess, of each. Anyway, what else are we doing? We're in LA now, right?
Yeah, we're in LA.
So exciting. Winona's like, all right, now we gotta tell the Abbey about this. It's so important. And Jose's like, no.
No, we don't.
I'm not gonna tell the Abbey. I was just here for a job. That was it.
Yeah.
I was taking out the elder vampires. And she's like, but you know the vampires working with the demons. And he's like, that sounds like an Abbey problem.
If the Abbey's so good, they'll probably figure it out. They'll probably have figured it out by now.
And so, Jose starts doing simpler jobs again. You know, just hanging out in LA, killing demons.
Yeah. Maybe he's like going out to Alcatraz, meets a siren, because the only place that sirens can be is on like islands and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like Alcatraz is a secret meeting place for sirens and like other magical creatures. So it's like, you know, you duck away from the tour and you like...
They do tours, Alcatraz.
Yeah, they do. It's great.
Yeah. A lot of human presence, I believe.
And you duck away and like you have to go down like a secret, you know, passageway and go to go to Al Capone's, you know, cell.
They are in LA though, and Alcatraz is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So kind of far.
Well, if
but,
he's doing
he can move
if
up,
it's over a couple of, you know, episodes that he's doing these smaller jobs.
Anyway, but the jobs there, the point of them is that he is noticing he's only going to do like 2, I guess. And the point is that the demons are getting way stronger, and he's even struggling with them. And he's getting confused on why like things are so much tougher now. So he sort of gets convinced a little bit in his head that maybe the Abbey does need him, or maybe he should at least help.
Yeah.
And so he visits.
I would like it if Jose's
a
like
movie studio.
If Jose's entire thought process is he never thinks, "Oh, I need the Abbey's help." He always thinks, "Oh, the Abbey needs my help." I think that's a good characterization, like thought process.
And so he visits a movie studio. It's a little bit out of the way, but it's like in Burbank, LA, or something like that. I don't know. Not. It's not like Central LA. Well, I mean, Burbank's still obviously a very big area. But anyway, so he visits the studio. He goes in, and quickly you realize this isn't a normal movie studio. It is the center of dreams. It is where dreams are made. Literally, this is Morpheus, the god of dreams, and he has a movie studio where he makes the dreams. And he hires writers and cinematographers and everyone.
That's fun.
This is my favorite part of the whole show. So you have like this Morpheus is like a writer. Like he's like a complete like a producer writer. He's like coming out with all these dream ideas. That's when they're first gonna get introduced to him. He's like in a writer's room with like 8 other people.
Yeah.
And they're all like pitching stuff. He's like, all right. It starts off with him as a cow. They're like talking about the person's dream, all right? And he jumps up in the air, but he like doesn't, it's not normal gravity, all right? He like floats up high, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's brilliant, that's genius. And Jose is like, you do that with literally every dream. Every dream has the same weird gravity thing. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. What the hell? And
Morpheus is like, oh my God, it's Jose, and he gives him a hug.
Maybe
like,
maybe he calls him Orphe. You know? He's got a special little nickname for him. Morp. Oh, good old Morp.
So Morp.
Yeah. And so
Mort. Maybe Mort. That's his nickname, Mort.
Yeah. Goes to Mort, and he's like, you're bad at this. And Mort's like, I love you, buddy. I know your dreams. Don't worry about it. I'll hook you up. I'll put in your, 7th grade math teacher that you had a crush on. Or whatever. Yeah. I got you. Miss Wilson will be there.
Anyway, he asks Morpheus for a prophetic dream. Morpheus is like, I can't really do that. Because he wants to know what's going to happen. Like, what is this demon thing? What's the end game? Is there an actual issue here? And Morpheus is like, well, that's not, I can't just give you a prophetic dream. But you got to give me something.
Okay.
So, Jose signs over his life rights first, which means that Morpheus can use anything in his life in a dream for someone else. You know,
Okay.
like he has it's like movie rights. You know,
Yeah.
he can put any of it into whatever dream.
And
he wants.
Jose has lived quite a life, so it seems like that would
Exactly.
make lots of dream fodder.
Additionally, Morpheus wants his soul, which, you know, in a demon sense, you'd think like, oh, he's going to hell. In like a heaven sense, it's like you're going to heaven. In a Morpheus sense, it means you're going to work at the studio after you die.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You have to be the PA. You know, you're gonna be a grip for 10,000 years. Oh, yikes.
Yeah, maybe there's like a term agreement, like 10,000 years, you're going to be here.
You're gonna be my coffee boy.
And Jose doesn't entirely see that as a bad thing, because he's like, well, I mean, then I don't go to hell, so
At least I know where I'll be
probably
in
not bad.
10,000 years.
yeah. It's like a 50-50 whether I'm going to heaven or hell, but, you know, this isn't too bad. It's just like a job.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets the prophetic dream, sees the world being burned and destroyed, and sees his brother die. He's like, okay, maybe I do need to help the Abbey. Because, you know, he likes his brother still.
Yeah. He doesn't want his brother to die, even though he thinks he's a bit of a dickhead. Sometimes.
And so because of seeing his brother die, he goes to Israel and ends up getting attacked by a named demon there. He knows it's a named demon, but he doesn't know its name. And it, like, you know, foggily tries to murder him, and he barely escapes. And he continues on his journey, and he finds the wrappings of Lazarus, which are said to resurrect the wearer. He grabs these because he wants to save his brother. That's the whole reason he's doing it. So he knows his brother's going to die because he saw a prophetic dream. And he knows that everything in the dream will happen.
Yeah.
So he knows his brother's dead.
He knows his brother will
But he
die.
can save him.
But he can save him with the secret magic that maybe is like... Maybe the Abbey is like, no, that's not allowed. You know? Maybe artifacts, like magical artifacts, are seen as like sort of lower tier. Like that's not something the Abbey deals with just because it's below them. You know?
No, they do use magical artifacts. That's kind of the whole thing.
Okay.
Is they'll have like special crosses and stuff.
Okay.
Or like, you know, stuff like that, holy water and all that kinds of stuff. But some stuff is very hard to find, and that this is one of those things.
Yeah.
It also isn't confirmed to work.
Oh, okay, that's a big thing.
Okay, so next we got Winonna's continuing her investigation and slowly uncovers a hell cult inside the Abbey. But as she figures this out, she tells Zhang, and Zhang suspects Jose,
Of course, he
obviously,
does.
because it's like, it's my little brother who's at fault here.
Yeah.
And so he puts his brother on trial. Middle of the trial, you know, he's destroying his relationships essentially during the trial. But in the middle of the trial, right before Jose is going to get convicted and blown up and stuff,
Yeah.
there's an incursion and destroys all the judges and kills Zhang. And we have a moment where Jose like runs up to Zhang and grabs him, and Zhang's like apologizing because he's like, I shouldn't, I was wrong about you,
Such a
and stuff like
dick.
that. And Jose was like, I just wanted to be like you.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry, I got this, I can do it, brother. And he wraps him in the wrappings of Lazarus,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work.
Oh. Oh no.
Oof. Yep.
Yikes.
Doesn't work.
And
So now the Abbey's in shambles. The Hell Cult reveals itself and is led by... so the leader of the Abbey, her name was Olympias.
yeah.
Turns out Olympias has been dead for a long time, and the leader of the Abbey is actually a demon named Faye,
Ooh.
who was the one who attacked Jose in the Holy Land.
Okay.
So she was posing as Olympias because she can shapeshift, but she's the leader of the Abbey. Boom. Big reveal.
Big reveal. The Abbey sucks more than you thought it did.
Well, no, they killed all the people that were good in the Abbey, and the Hell Cult's all that remains.
Yeah, but they're bad. If they were run by a demon, they've been run by a demon for months.
But they didn't know. You know, there's a lot of good people
Exactly,
in the Abbey,
but
they
I'm
didn't
not.
know.
I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm saying they're stupid. They're bad at fighting demons.
See, Olympias is like was the immortal leader of the Abbey. She's like Dumbledore.
Okay.
Kind of, except immortal.
Yeah.
Where like people respected her too much to ever question her.
Okay. That's, yeah.
So it was hard, people suspected that things were weird, but they trusted her no matter what.
Uh-huh.
And thought that she would not be killed by some demon. But she was, by Fae. Anyway, obviously their plot, the demons, they want to break down the barrier between hell and earth. How are they going to do that? Well, Jose and Winona find out that they need a vessel that carried God to open up a vessel that allowed God to switch planes, right?
Uh-huh.
From heaven to earth is the only way to let the devil switch between planes, right?
Okay.
So, Jesus or whatever is dead, so
who are they going to get now?
He's in heaven, so they can't. What are they going to do? The burning bush. You remember the Bible?
Oh shit!
Burning bush.
That bush was burning.
So,
so there's like this chase.
They need the ashes of Horeb, which is the mountain. I'm calling it the ashes of Horeb because Horeb's the mountain and their ashes because it's the burning bush.
Yeah.
So they head there. They gotta get to Bush before the other people do because they'll be able to destroy reality and stuff.
It's a big, race against time and against a bunch of demons, and maybe the elder vampires get in on it because they're still pissed off at Jose.
Yeah.
So there could be this fun three-way chase, across the world to get to Horeb, to find the ashes of Horeb.
And when they get there, so you got everyone fighting. Winona gets the ashes first, but Jose is captured, and we get the classic scenario where she's like, well, I'm gonna have to turn him over because I don't want you to kill Jose, and Jose uses hacks on a demon to get him to kill him because he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you turn the ashes over because then they're gonna have him. So he gets the demon to stab him so that she won't. She's like, well, he's dead now.
Yeah.
I can't.
What am I gonna do? Not gonna turn in the thing that'll save his life because he's already dead.
So Death is disappointed because he's like, damn it, all this time, and you killed yourself. That's how you died. And Jose is like, I don't know, man. Sorry. And Death's like, and I don't even get to take you. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, you got the freaking Lazarus thing wrapped around your hand. He's like, what? But that doesn't work. He's like, oh my God, you guys don't read the instructions. You have to do something selfless right before you die, and then boom, you're fine. So you stabbing yourself to protect the ashes counts.
Smart.
He's gonna phrase it not less jokingly.
Yeah.
And so Jose is resurrected, and he has to rush to Calvary because that's where they have to do the because Jesus ascended there, so they gotta
do the thing.
The burning bush thing there.
Yes.
Yeah. Boom. So he gets to Calvary last minute, helps Winona defeat Fae, the demons, and
like Han
they
Solo
return the burning bush to heaven.
gets in. Woo!
Yep, last minute.
Yeah.
Saves
the day. And his brother's dead. Well, I liked it a lot. What was the title again?
Oh jeez. I threw my notebook.
Isn't it Behold an Ashen Horse? It was
Fire and Brimstone, Behold an Ashen Horse, or the Ashes of Calvary.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed that show very, very much. Thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Long, and with me as always has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, and wee baby boy, Jacob Gloth. If you liked what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dad, tell your mom. And please, above all, stay safe and buy our merch at www.VeryReasonablePilotsPodcastMerch.com. That's not real, it's fake. All right, thank you all.
Goodbye.